Track is open. Track is hot. All stations waving green.
So it's day 3 at Road Atlanta for the third round of MotoAmerica, featuring the Bagger Series, with Troy Herfoss having won both the 2-lap challenge yesterday and the race 1 of the Bagger Series, and he's got race 2 coming up this afternoon. But it's wet here, as you can see. I've just been down through the pits for an extended lunch break. They have an extended lunch break here during the mornings as a part of the council ordinances here. And I ran into Troy and got an extended video, which is great. There was a video done by a podcaster called Al with Bagger Mayhem. I've got that recorded, as well as a link that you'll be able to see the full video that Al will have additional material in that he'll indicate in his video. I was able to do a little bit more of an interview with Troy as well. Unfortunately, I screwed up and had the camera the wrong way around. The sound's not so great because I don't have radio microphones like Al has, but you'll get the gist anyway. I hope you enjoy this very special video from Road Atlanta, and watch the videos and I'll catch you at the end.
Listen, King of the Baggers, round 3, Bagger Mayhem, the podcast. We are here with the man, the myth, the legend, Troy Herfoss. How you doing, buddy?
That was an intro.
That was the man. Listen, the world, everybody wants to know who you are and where you came from, man. You came out of nowhere. You've been dominating the season so far. Like, one thing we want to know is, how'd you get aboard in India? Did you have to take a test? Did you have to apply for India? How did you make this transformation from coming from a superbike rider to the back?
Yeah, man. Essentially, I'm just we're not that young, a middle-aged guy with a dream of racing here in the States. I started off in my younger days racing Supermoto in America. Spent a lot of years racing Superbike in Australia. Last year, I finished 10 years with on the Superbike team, and 1 week out from winning the championship in Australia, my 3rd or 4th Australian Superbike championship, I decided it was time for a change. I quit a week out from the last round and sort of got in contact with the promoters here at MotoAmerica, and lucky enough to win the championship a week later, and it sort of put my name on the radar a little bit. And the guys at Indian reached out. I didn't.
So like, honestly, did you see the Bagger racing going on? You're like, listen, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, how did it come about?
Honestly, mate,
who made the call? Like,
I had the ambition of riding a superbike. That's been a lifelong thing.
3 championships.
And Indian Motorcycle was cool, and I'm like, I've got to have a think about this. And to be honest, now I can't believe I even thought about not doing it. They said, come over. We want to sign you. We think you've got what it takes to do well, which gave me a lot of confidence to go to a team like that. I signed the contract. I flew out to Texas and went to a track out at Eagles Canyon, just a private day. It was raining like this, and man, I said that I wanted to jump outside my comfort zone, right?
Right.
And you can't imagine how far outside my comfort zone I am when I first jumped on that bike. 600 pounds plus. So much torque.
Is a V-twin anything you ever rode, like back home,
No.
like as a bike, a street bike or anything? Have you ever been on a V-twin ever?
I got a friend that's got a V-twin, and I rode it down around the roundabout in Australia, roundabouts, and back, and I was like, man, that handles so bad. But that's not what these are. It's a couple of small modifications. A bit of suspension, a bit of ride height, and that bike all of a sudden has a really usable power, and it turns actually great. Like, I want to see guys like, we went through the phase of choppers and raking them bikes out. They're on the ground. What about we start raising them up and we take these bikes into the mountains, and we take on some sports bikes?
Right. Do you think your height has it because of your advantage? Because they're saying these bikes, I spoke to a lot of sport bike guys, these bikes are a lot higher, so they get that lean angle. You're pretty tall. Tyler's pretty tall. You think you're an advantage for the shorter guys?
Yeah, that was in the interview with the team. It was funny, they mentioned the height. And straight away I'm like, oh no, I'm always too tall, right?
Right.
Generally they're quite short.
Right.
When they realised I was 6 foot tall, they were happy because the bike's, it's tall. It's as tall as an adventure bike.
Right.
Like I'm on my tippy toes. So just now in the wet, for example, it helps to have some leverage. Like these bikes, they're bigger than people think, right? If you ride these bikes,
a lot heavier.
Yeah. But when they're raised up, that weight, that pendulum is heavy. So yeah, it's an experience I'll never forget, and I hope it continues.
Another question I got for you. The rumor has it that before you rode Coda, you were playing GP Moto games, a video game to learn the track. I have that video game, and that's the only track on the game that's here in America. The Circuit of the Americas on it. Is that true? Were you practicing on that track, on the game before you actually went on the track to win?
That's right. I got a couple of young kids, so the PlayStation got put away for a few years. And when this come up, I said to my wife Emily, look, it's my job. I got to get the PlayStation out. Take the kids for a few hours. I got some work to do, and I was on MotoGP, and then it's a hard game to play. So I started driving the F1, and then I eventually went to the F2 car, just because it was easier to get around the track on the lines. And then for this track here at Road Atlanta, I don't know if you played Gran Turismo.
No.
Yeah, Gran Turismo is a great game. I started in like a Charger, because the lap times are similar, but I ended up in a Porsche 911. I was just been doing lap after lap of Road Atlanta. So it's funny, I'm 37. When I was a kid, you wouldn't dream of doing that. There wasn't games.
So you were playing the car game on I thought you played the MotoGP game.
I started with MotoGP.
With the motorcycle on.
But it was too hard. That game's technical.
Control it, right?
Whereas the car with the steering wheel, I could just cruise around and hit the lines a bit easier.
How similar was the video game to like the actual track and watching the lines, the race lines on that track?
So you don't get the undulation exactly, but for example, turn 17, I think, the second last left-hand corner. In the car, you come around the fast right, and it always drags you wide. It's hard to make the apex on the motorbike game and the car game. And as soon as I went out there and started pushing that corner, I was struggling to get the front into the apex. I'm like, that's exactly like the game. So it did have a few things that correlated pretty good.
Yeah. Let's rewind it a little bit. I was at Daytona, your first race.
Yeah.
I followed the
I did see you down there actually. Yeah.
Okay, the chicane twice.
Yeah.
2 days in a row.
Yeah.
You had trouble on the chicane. You're looking back.
Yeah.
What was the issue with the chicane?
Look, there's not much going on up there, but I don't make the same mistake twice.
Right.
Look, the camera angle didn't do any justice. So just to make it basic for you, the first day I could tell I couldn't make it to the finish line. Right. So I did. I sat up, let him pass, and I just didn't quite have the draft. That could have gone either way. I was happy with that. I learned something. The second day, I knew I had speed. And I was trying to break him, and basically I was just on my limit. I knew I did that apex perfectly, and the camera angle didn't show. Like I was backing the bike in, and I was actually really wide, and the curve's about, it's quite high.
Right. I broke that track.
And I didn't want to hit that curve, so I just stopped the bike before the curve. I sat up and I looked back, and he's there. I'm like.
And he's very familiar
I'm like,
with that.
shit, I'm out. So and then he come around me, and he went low.
Yeah, he went right over the ripple.
Yeah, and I've done some bicycle racing. I'm like, I know if I swing in off the top on a push bike, you come down the banking. I was like, I've got him here. And I went wide, and he's going for it. And I'm like, and he's sliding because he was on the inside.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to come off this bank and just come flying past him. Well, anyway, the experience got me. But yeah, it looked the same, but it was far from the same. The first day I was sitting up trying to let him pass. The second day I was on my absolute limit. But I don't regret it. Like it would have been so good to win my first Daytona in my first attempt.
Yeah.
But man, there was so much
we
going on.
knew you were coming though after your performance there.
Yeah.
We said he's coming.
It was a lot of fun.
And you brought it in Coda. Another highlight of the Daytona race. We'll show the picture of that in a minute. You, Rispoli, and Kyle like neck and neck coming down before turn one.
Yeah.
You're coming down the straightaway.
That's going straight.
All of a sudden, it's like they hit the brakes and you just pulled out ahead of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy is not scared to brake late in that turn. Is that what happened on that situation?
So that was race 2.
Right.
And I actually spoke to Ben Speed, Superbike legend, just 20 minutes before the start. And he's like, dude, just sit in the first 3-4 laps.
Right.
When you see 2 to go or 3 to go, just go. You've got the speed.
Right.
And so I was like coming through that draft, seeing 2 to go, I'm like, I've got to be leading this lap and I've got to go.
Yeah.
And Yeah, they braked and I'm like, oh shit, I've gone too deep.
Yes.
And I just got it into the apex and then I got that gap straight away.
I was like, this guy got no brakes.
Yeah.
Just like they do this.
But how good was we were touching bags.
Yeah, that was
epic.
we'll show the picture right now when we're playing this, man. And you know, some people thought that was photoshopped. I was like, no, those guys were
that was
close
185 mile an hour.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of names that's already been surfacing for you. They call you the Thunder from Down Under.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And then there's a nice one, instead of King of the Baggers, it say King of Queensland, because Queensland is where you're from.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Queensland, Australia.
I'm happy with that, those two.
King of Queensland is right here. So, do you see any differences between, I know you never rode one of the Harley ones, but any differences between the Indians and the Harleys?
Yeah, there's always difference. So you got riding style as well, and I've spent a bit of time racing against Kyle now. You know, 2 factory bikes, Indian versus Harley. Look, it's really even. Like honestly, I believe that my imperfections on the track, I would have on his bike, and he would still be strong in the areas on my bike. That makes sense. Like I feel like the bikes are really even. Like he's good at making an exit. I'm good at running in the middle of the apex, and I feel like if we swap bikes, it might not actually be a bike imperfection. It might be just our riding styles. Like, and as you see on the track, like it's been close every time. You can't pick a winner. So look, there's definitely going to be things that each bike does differently, but I think right at this moment, the championship, there's a really healthy rivalry. The bikes are quite even, and the best rider's got the opportunity to win. Yeah.
Your fan base coming from Australia, have they embraced your new ventures onto the Indians, or are they having a problem with that? Like, how are they responding to that? I'm curious about that.
Everyone's been so supportive. Look, there was a lot of questions when I first made the decision, like why is the Australian Superbike Champion not going to the next step? You know, American Superbike, British Superbike, World Superbike. But them opportunities don't come by that easily.
A phone call that
changed
your mind. Huh?
And then when this come about, guys like, why are you doing that? And then when they see it, they're like, holy shit, this is so exciting. Yeah. And hey, I'm part of a team that's really passionate. They live for this, like we all live for it. They put in the same effort I put into it. You've got a rivalry that's bigger than any rivalry I've been involved with.
It's history. It's like history in the making.
Exactly.
You're bringing back something from years ago, and the rivalry's back again. It's brand new, third year. Yeah,
and that rubs off on a Queenslander from Australia. Like it's a healthy rivalry, and it's real, and it's fun to be a part of. So I've got no regrets in the decision I made to ride King of the Baggers, and I haven't had any vicious feedback. It's all been really good, so I'm happy. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, we look forward to you for the rest of the season. I'll be there. I'll be watching the King of Cleveland, hopefully King of the Bagger this year, the Thunder from Down Under, my man, Troy. Thank you so much.
I appreciate the chat.
Bagger Mayhem.
So here for Waving Green from the circuit, what do they call it here? Road Atlanta. I was going to say Circuit of the Americas. So I've got Al from
Bagger Mayhem.
From Bagger Mayhem. There's a video that Al's just done with Troy, so I'm going to add that at the end of this with a link through to Al's channel. But Troy, it's great to see you here again. You've just been speaking about how you're really enjoying the Bagger series here. You've said that a couple of times in the interviews that we've had. How are you finding, is there a difference in how they run things here to how they run it at home?
Yeah, there's a few quirks that I'm getting used to. We're here in the paddock, all our tents are up. There's a race down pit lane, we move the bikes out there. You know, in Australia we're used to backing up to a pit garage, we just leave them there. So that's one little thing that I'm getting used to. But in general, we run a tight ship here in Australia, and the same here in America. They've been doing this a long time, and there's a lot of personnel here, that's what I'm noticing. Flag marshals, there's a lot of people. It's a big country, so a lot of people helping out.
Yeah, and paid marshals too.
That's your...
There's very few volunteers.
That's out of my jurisdiction, mate. So
all right, so Al just asked you the thing about the excitement around coming to America here and riding in the Bagger series, and I just saying to Al, in fact, that the fact that you are here, I think the Bagger series, it's only a couple of years old right now, is sort of in the awareness at least of some of the harder aficionados of riding. But the fact that you're here this year has really made it very much a public awareness thing. Are you picking up on that at all?
Yeah, I am. More so in America as well. Like guys like our guys that run and promote the series and run a podcast, and there's a lot more guys at the events from the social media side of things, and it just gets more people looking at it, really, and that's where we can make it grow in Australia too. But it helps. Coming from the Australian Superbike Champion last year with the win, and so people want to know what I'm up to. Hopefully they're enjoying it.
I've been praising this man all over the place. So the story of 3 years ago at Turn 2 in Darwin, my corner, you went in hard under your bike at the air fence, and that was almost the end of the season as far as people were watching were concerned. Yeah. Then you came back 2 years ago, recovered back in the middle, lower middle up into the middle, but then last year you wowed everybody, and we were very much excited for our favourite rider to come back and do your championship for the 3rd year, and now you're here, and that's just fantastic. So a great opportunity for marshals to come to both COTA or to here with the MotoAmerica. Just work through the Flag Marshals of Australia or the one of the ASPK volunteer Facebook pages for the contact details. Get on them myself or Graham Eberhard and work out about coming out and seeing Troy running over here. And what do you always want marshals to be doing there, mate?
Keep me safe, brother.
And waving green, that's right. All right, congratulations, mate. And good, thanks very much, Al.
Yes, sir. Bagger Mayhem, the podcast.
Bagger Mayhem, the podcast.
Thunder from down under. Let's go.
There's a bit of water on the lens. It's hopefully it'll dry up this afternoon for Troy's 3rd race. But until then, and I hope he does as well, keep the shiny side up.